Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I just received an RC controller and receiver that I want to use. When I found out that I can make this Zumo robot capable of remote control, there is a sketch that you can load onto the Arduino, but you need to, I think I have some male header pins, or I can solder wires directly to pins that I found the circuit on the Pololu website, and basically it just shows you where to connect the receiver, and hopefully this remote control and receiver will work with this robot, but I'll find out. These remote controls can get pretty expensive, so this particular one here has mixed reviews, but let's see if it works for me. So this is relatively inexpensive compared to other remote control. FlySky GT3C 2.4 gigahertz automatic frequency hopping digital system. So here we have 3 channels: model type, car or boat, RF frequency range, bandwidth, band, RF power. So here's all the specs right there. Charger port USB. So let's take a look inside. So a piece of tape here. Let's get a little closer. Maybe that's too close. Take this out. So here's the quick start guide. Chinese end is the English side. So we've got, let's see, trim right, trim left, channel 3, wheel, power, trim up, trim down. Comes with a LiPo battery. So depending on whether you're going to use the 5 volts off of the Zumo or it has its own 5 volts, you have more or less wiring to do. There's only like, I think, three wires I have to solder on. So here's a USB cable. Here's the battery. Lithium ion, 800 milliamp hour capacity, 3.7 volts. Okay, so this just opens up. All right, so I was wondering the size of this because it was hard to gauge from the picture. They should always put something that you can reference. So this is pretty small, so I meant to order some Velcro tape, but a little piece of Scotch tape will probably do. Is the tube to hold this wire as an antenna, make it rigid. So that's not bad. It's not too heavy at all. And here's the controller. Just a little rubber grip here. This seems kind of flimsy here. You could see maybe that breaking. Looks like it has an LCD display. Wow, I think a lot more buttons than I'm going to need unless I use this for some other remote control vehicles in the future. So the antenna pops up. So the trims, I guess. Channel 3. That's where the battery goes. So I don't know if there is a charge already on this. So I think I'm supposed to just pull this out. Not sure. Oh, there's the contact, so this just goes in. Don't make it straightforward. I think that would just slide all the way out. Push. And then it stops. Okay, there it goes. Don't want to break it right off the bat. So I guess you just leave that on there. That matches up. Oh yeah, there's a little indent there. Match up with the battery if you can see that. Just press that in. Guess that's, don't remove that. That's so you can pick the battery up out of the compartment. And then just slide this. All right. Is there a film on this? So, the first thing I need to do is see where the on-off switch is. All right, took me a minute to find out what is what here. The power buttons on this. I was thought maybe one of these switches, but it's right on the, it doesn't jump right out at you, but there's the power right there. At least when you first take it out, it doesn't, when I'm reading this, it talks about move the transmitter power switch to its on position. So that led me to think that it was, some type of switch, but it's right here. And the USB connection is right there. So turn this on. I don't see an indicator for charge. So this is going to take a little bit to get used to. I'm not familiar with controllers, these RC controllers. Thought maybe you'd step through some of these end, back. Oh, there we go. Use this little thumb wheel here. Set the voltage. Well, let me plug this in and charge it up, I guess. At least. There isn't a battery unless, I don't think so. You have to have a separate battery or voltage source for the receiver. In my case, it's going to get its voltage from the Zumo robot. But I have to get used to this controller here, but I'll charge up the battery at least. Know that that's fully charged. So you can see here when I plug this USB cable into the USB port on my Optiplex, which I didn't, it's in energy saving mode. It turned off. I didn't know there was still voltage being supplied to the USB port. So that's lit. That's a good sign. And it's reading 4.2 volts. So this just goes in between model number and voltage. I don't know if that's explained in this little user's guide here. I don't think so. I think I'm going to have to go through and exercise those buttons and learn through experience. All right, so the receiver, I'm just going to place it on top here, and I think this can go in. I thought this gets fed through there. Oh, I can always just bring this from underneath. So if I feed this through the hole in the Arduino, I think that'll work. That might just stay there on its own. I don't even have to put any epoxy. Just use double-sided sticky tape maybe. Now, I need to solder some wires. I was going to see if make the connections. I was going to put a header pin here, but there's not enough room when this board is on here. There's some more pins available over here, but this plate is in the way. So I'm going to take this off. And I've got these female to female jumpers. I'll just cut off one end. I was hoping maybe if I put this on first, I don't think so. I think this is going to be Maybe not. I don't want any of those pins to touch the plate. So if you see here, I have a ground, 5 volts in, and then this is the signal, and then how is it working on this side here? I've got ground, 5 volts, and a signal. So that's what it's showing for receiver connections on the Pololu website. So I'm either going to solder directly or put those header pins in the front here. So I'm going for soldering the wires directly to the board. I'll have a black, a ground, a wire, a red plus 5 volts, and the white will be the signal wire. And I'll have 2 channels, the throttle channel and the steering channel. Leaves a 3rd channel on the RC controller I can use for maybe adding something additional to the Zumo robot. But yeah, I'm going to solder directly, if I can get underneath here. It's just enough room. I hope I don't melt any of the plastic there. So just, let's see, get solder that. All right, so I've got the wires soldered. So this is channel 1, or just the throttle channel, and this is the steering channel. So now I can put this front plate back on. And the Arduino, oh, I took this sensor board off the bottom there, but this can go back on. Now on the receiver here, it has a designation for, let's see what we have here. We've got plus and minus and signal. So VCC is the top row here, channel 3, channel 2, and channel 1. Now I don't know which one corresponds to the throttle and the steering with reference to the control, so is there enough room in here? I think I was along the edge of it. I don't think that was on. Okay, that felt like those were connected. And that's the antenna, so that's what I have. So maybe get some tie wraps and make this a little bit neater, but just want to make sure this is going to work at all. Let me plug this sensor back in underneath. Hopefully that's that. Now I need to turn the RC control unit on first. This has to be off. Receiver has to be off. So we'll see if this works. All right, so I loaded the sketch. Let's see what happens when I turn this on. Make sure everything's okay. Looks like it. Put the light on again. Now, if this needed to be trimmed, I thought maybe this would just start moving on its own. Whoa! Hey! It's working. Excellent. How do I... Whoa! Look at that. That is cool. You know what I was already thinking about is the gear ratio on the motors to go slower, to have a nice crawl. Look at that. That was... It's always great when you see it come together. And there's nothing, you know, there's a lot of things on this controller. I'm just going ahead and, you know, moving the trigger. That's cool. And there's the wheel here. There is a speed control. Look at that. It must be pulse width modulation, and because I thought maybe it would just go at one speed. But look at that. I can have it go really slow. I don't need to change the motors. That's pretty slow. That's like a crawler. Now, looking at this, I was thinking, gee, if I had the 3D printer, I don't know, what came to my mind is that, I don't know what they called it, that lunar vehicle on Lost in Space. That's, you know, my generation. It would fit, you know, the cabin would fit right on top of that. That would look cool. Wow. That was, you know, it's difficult getting there, and then when you look back, you're like, wow, that wasn't much of anything. The wiring, you know, I thought there was a little confusion here on whether I needed a separate 5 volts going to, I mean, the way this label reads, I think it's an electronic control module. There's different methodologies about going about powering up. Let's see what's going on here. All right, wasn't focusing there for a second. But yeah, so when you read this, you know, I was reading that I needed a row of pins here that was going to be plus and minus 5 volts in addition to what was on these channels, which, so yeah, this is, now I have a third channel, so I could put, you know, something else on here if I wanted to activate it. So that's the FlySky FSGT3C. Remote control with 1 receiver. That's a nice feel to it, that grip there. I guess when that gets all gummed up, you can replace it. Have a replaceable one here, or extra. And, you know, I didn't even have the antenna up. So I think this is like 1,000, I forget what I saw in some of the forums, 1,000 feet or something like that. But I'll give this a try outside. But
hindsight is 2020. This ended up being fun to put together. I wasn't certain how this was going to turn out. So we're sort of unboxing this receiver. The remote control and the receiver comes with a LiPo battery, rechargeable through USB port right here. And then I took the receiver and connected it to my Zumo robot with the Arduino board on it, which was pretty straightforward. Just 6 wires needed to be soldered. In my case, I decided to solder them, not use any header pins, male or female. And the wiring diagram is on the Pololu website. Yeah, so I hope you found this. I'll just keep on going on here. I hope you found this video interesting. I hope maybe it motivates you to give this a try. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe, like, and/or comment. And thanks for watching.